Rich Lafferty with RLR, and you know, I do riding schools. I've been doing riding schools since 2001. Having said that, just one of the tips that I would like to talk about, it's not really a tip, it's more my opinion, but I get asked it a lot, and I deal with guys that come here and they use this product all the time. You know, my tip or my opinion that I want to talk about is the recluse clutch. Talking about the automatic clutch. I myself have never tested the manual clutch, this new thing that they have now. It's supposed to have more plates, more drive and all that. Never tested one, never used one, don't have any interest in using one. I mean, no disrespect to the product or anything. The automatic clutch, I deal with it a lot, guys. It seems to be a craze lately with off-road guys. And the thing that I dislike myself about it is, you know, and I've tested it and I've used it, and I've even race tested it at races where I've done well. My result was well at the race, but I was more disappointed afterward in the way I rode, because the recluse forces you to ride a certain way. You know, and the recluse, in a sense, you don't have that clutch control. And then the answer always is, oh, you can override it, you can override it. Well, depending on the RPM of the motorcycle, the engagement point of the clutch, meaning that sweet spot that you make power from, or, you know, to loft the front end, or in a technical situation, or just to get power coming out of a turn, it's inconsistent. That engagement point, it's inconsistent. And then I've heard a thing, and I've seen it where most beginner guys that come here, you know, if they come here and have a recluse clutch, they just white knuckle it, meaning they just hold on around the grip and never have a finger on the clutch for safety or anything like that. And they're just like, oh, I don't have to worry about stalling or anything because I have a recluse. And then it just has that delayed, no power. And you know, and then you let off the throttle coming into a turn. A lot of times the rear wheel locks up instantly. So that kind of goes against that engine braking, carrying momentum into a turn, you know, and it just, all that brake control that we all, you know, look for and strive for to carry good momentum into a turn is gone. A lot of times guys are just, you know, when I teach at school, and it seems like I have to work around a little bit, and I'm not, you know, I know for some guys it's the way to go, and it's just one less thing to think about. I have a good friend who uses it, swears by it, and we always tease each other about it, you know, and it may work for you. I just think that, in my opinion, it teaches guys to be lazy. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, I'm just being honest in my opinion. You know, you have to learn how to use the clutch to stall the motorcycle, to keep it running. You know, I have had guys with a 350 or a 4-stroke model, and they come and say how, oh, I have a stall issue, so, you know, I put a recluse in it. Well, a lot of times there's a lot of other things that go out the window and you create more problems with it. The stall issue can be remedied either, you know, with the throttle body or something like that, where we're doing with fuel injection nowadays, or just simply just turning the idle up a tad. We can, there's ways to remedy, you know, around that. But with the recluse, the engagement point changes. It has no power off the bottom end. And that being said, I mean, if I was ever going to run it, which I never would really run it, it would be on a big bore, like a 450 or something like that, 520. 520, I don't even know if they make 520s anymore, but 500. You know, I'm talking KTM Husky, 400. They kind of weaken that bottom end just a little bit, you know, where it got so much snap. But then again, you know, like I said, all that control goes out the window, that clutch control for when you need it, you know, to get you, keep you out of trouble, in my opinion. Just learn how to use your clutch. You know, and I do have a bit of a sour taste in my mouth because, you know, I have so many guys come here and they're like, well, so-and-so uses it. And now, most of the times, most pros use the cover. They use the clutch cover because it holds a little more oil. And a lot of times, and they are also claiming that the clutch covers were thicker. They're not any thicker than any OEM KTM Husky clutch cover. They're same thickness, but they do hold more oil because they have more of a square edge rather than a tapered edge like the KTM Husky ones do. And I want to show you about that in a minute. I got some cutaways and stuff. But so they do hold a little bit more oil, which you know is a good thing, I guess. A little more oil around your clutch, your standard clutch, that is, OEM. But you know, a lot of guys do run it, run the cover, and then therefore, you know, Johnny comes through the pits or whoever he is and sees, you know, so-and-so's pro level guy's bike and, oh, it's got a recluse. Nah, he's just running cover. You know, but a lot of times, and then guys will put out the investment of $800 or $600 or wherever that clutch costs nowadays, and then, you know, it's hard to talk yourself, you know, out of that. We can talk ourselves into anything once you've made that kind of investment on a part. But I just see a lot of control going out the window when you go to a recluse. The engagement point changes, the power, like I said, all that. You know, I've had guys, certain guys that come to my school come once a month, you know, just training, and older guys, middleweight, you know, all skill levels. And after a while, more than I can remember, I'm trying to remember, at least I can name at least 4 guys that I know of have went back from a recluse to a standard clutch and won't go back to a recluse ever, and they finally see the difference. And it's what it is once we've put that money in that investment, is we never really, you know, we put it in and we talk ourselves into it like, oh yeah, it works, it's great. But did you ever just go back to the OEM just to see if it actually works with testing and test it and see the differences? Because we put out that kind of money, and a lot of times we just talk ourselves into it. In a sense, really, it's hurting you. I see a lot of older guys use it and think it's the way to go and it just keeps them in better, you know, whatever reason they have to tell themselves. But in my opinion, they're losing that clutch drive, clutch control, and especially in that technical situation and good power. Again, this is my opinion, and I'll be willing to back it up however I have to. And but I'm not picking on Recluse. I know they're a reputable business, and they put out a great product for street bikes and dual sport models and whatnot, and some people like them. But I don't know very many pros that are actually using them, and I know a few, but I could be wrong. But mostly pros are running the covers because they hold a little bit more oil, and they did claim that they were thicker. They're not thicker. They're the same thickness as a standard OEM clutch cover. But I just get, you know, I feel that people should know what's going on with it, and that, in my opinion, there is no real benefit. Just learn how to use your clutch. I've never used a manual, but I don't see the point in a manual if your standard clutch is working. There's more moving parts in a manual or an automatic one. Whenever there's more moving parts in something like that, where there's a lot of friction, in my opinion, you're just asking for more issues with clutch overheating and stuff like that. Especially if it's a big 4-stroke and you ride in a lot of tight woods. You know, and I'm sure there's guys going to be messaging, dude, I love that thing. You're crazy, you know? And that's fine. That's your opinion. I'm just giving you my opinion. And, you know, I support it with, you know, I've done testing with it. I've tried it, used it, and always went back to OEM. I've had guys come here for schools do the same thing. But just understand that weigh things out, and at $800, I mean, I'd rather put in my suspension or something like that, or tires or wear items to get me through. But just learn and practice how to use your clutch. You know, learn how to go slow, learn that engagement point. And that's something else. You know, I see it in little kids. I've seen little kids use a recluse, and their mom or dad, they have a stall issue because, you know, shifting and all that and stuff. They have issues, so they just, we'll put a recluse in that little 65. Well, that's great, but then when they get to that 85 and 125 and on up, then they have clutch control issues, and sooner or later they gotta learn them. But the recluse, in a sense, just teaches them laziness. You know, they're in this third gear, making no power whatsoever, just twisting the throttle. So sorry, man, I'm just giving you my opinion and the stuff I see, and I think that, you know, weigh out the situation. Maybe the recluse is for you, but I know a lot of people who have tried it and end up going back, and they found that in the end, the standard OEM clutch was the best way to go. And again, this is just my opinion, and you know, I know there's some other videos on YouTube and such where, you know, pro riders pretty much say the same thing. Actually, I only know of one, but and I'm actually going to put a link to that video in the bottom comments so you can see that as well. And it's funny because he does use a recluse cover, not the clutch. But so anyway, that's my opinion on recluse clutches. Make sure, you know, you take good care of your standard clutch. You know, lube the pinch bolt in the or the pivot bolt in the lever. Take that apart at least, you know, once or twice every other race, or every race, depending on how muddy it is or whatever. Make sure you check it for wear, bleed the clutch. You know, if it's a regular hydraulic clutch like a Husky KTM. Seem to deal with them a lot, but you know, whatever it calls for, like, you know, if it's brake fluid or hydraulic oil or whichever. I know now the newer ones are calling for brake fluid, so just keep your fluid up and bleeding that thing, keep it bled, and check your banjo bolts and all that kind of stuff. But standard OEM clutch, in my opinion, is the best way to go. And that being said, you know, I'm going to talk about clutch plates too. When you know, I have a guy with a 4-stroke issue with clutch plates, you know, and I've been down the road too. Man, I just came back because, you know, clutch plates aren't cheap, especially when you're doing the OEM. You know, and DP or someone like that, and they throw in Hinson or one of them aftermarket clutch plates. The fibers, in my opinion, they wear out a lot quicker. Yes, they're cheaper, but you get what you pay for. You're better off, in my opinion, just going with a standard OEM clutch pack. You're going to get more bang for your buck. It is more expensive, and trust me, I know, I've been there too. But you're going to get better bang for your buck, and you're better off just doing that, because if you put in any aftermarket one, in my opinion, you're just going to be replacing it in half the time that you would the OEM. I mean, nowadays I don't abuse my clutch, but I use my clutch like it's supposed to be used, in my opinion. I say that a lot, in my opinion. But and I change my oil frequently, and you know, once a week maybe, you know, with some practice during the week and every race. And I'm pretty sure I can get a year, a full season, doing schools and whatnot out of a OEM clutch pack. So you know, take that for what it's worth. There you go, and just keep up on your clutches, you know, and take good care of your lever and whatnot, and learn clutch control. And I got some videos coming, video tips coming about clutch control and how to practice that, just to have good clutch control, good throttle control, and all that kind of stuff. It's just little simple things, and I know a lot of these little kids struggle with that, as I did when I was little. I remember my first clutch bike was an RM60, not a 65, RM60. And I remember spending all Christmas morning learning how to use a clutch. So, and then some, and then the whole week after probably. But that's my opinion, and I definitely am going to give you some feedback too, as far as what I've seen with the clutch covers, just so you know. So, thanks. Okay, here we go. We have, you know, a regular recluse clutch cover for Husky KTM, Husky standard OEM clutch cover, and then we have actually a cutaway of each. This is a recluse Husky. As you can see, the taper that I was talking about, you know, they're a little bit tapered, a little bit small. The flat surface area is a little bit smaller, versus the recluse is just a little bit bigger with the less taper. Obviously gives it more room. And this is actually evident more when you look at the cutaway. If you just look at the cutaway, you can actually see it's just the thickness of the outer stock OEM Husky. Okay, the recluse actually can fit over it. See what I'm talking about here? So it's just a little bit more oil, obviously. Okay, and plus where it's not tapered, it'll carry a little bit more oil, which actually, yes, you know, if I can get some more oil around my clutch, that's a good thing. So yeah, I'm going to run a clutch cover too that holds more oil. Heck yeah. But no, I'm not going to run the clutch. In my opinion, there's no real benefit to running one, and I mean, unless I was putting up arrows or something like that, or you know, doing trail work, or just, I don't know. That's about it. That's the only reason I would need it. And like a TTR 125 or something putting up arrows or working on a race or something. But for racing and trail riding and anything like that, I would not run a recluse clutch. That's my opinion, just because it cuts down on overall clutch control of the motorcycle and traction and all that kind of stuff. So it's just something for you to think about. Clutch cover, just because there's a clutch cover on a pro's bike doesn't mean the clutch is actually in his bike. So this is Rich from RLR, and thank you for watching this video, and please subscribe, and you know, I have some more clutch stuff coming up and more tech tips and whatnot, and thank you all for following, and comment, please comment below, subscribe and check it out, and please comment. I mean, even if you know you're not happy with this video, please, I welcome your opinion, because this is just mine. Everybody has one. So thank you, and God bless everybody. See you later. Bye.